What am I doing? Welcome to Strange Stories from the Stage. I'm your host, Todd Strange. I'm an opera singer by trade, but I started a comedy about 2 years ago. Started stand up about a year and a half ago, and I've always wanted to do a podcast. So this is going to be my first episode ever. I poured myself a beer. For those watching the video, cheers to you. Cheers to you. Thanks for listening. Sorry in advance. I'm a beginner. But enjoy this first episode. Emily Goglia joins us. She is a phenomenal triple threat singer, actor, dancer. Musical theater is her specialty, but she crosses the borders of many musical and artistic talents. And we get into that a bit, but the whole premise of this podcast is to just talk about our stories from the stage. Maybe something embarrassing happened, maybe something funny. I will have different singers, actors, comedians on here, and we're just going to chat it up. So it should be a lot of fun. Hope you enjoy it. Enjoy my first episode. And yeah, I'll see you for the next one. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, it's called Riverside, and it's awesome. And it does a lot of things for me that I don't want to take the time to do. Like it edits clips through AI and does all kinds of stuff. And
Seriously?
yeah, it'll do a transcription and it'll highlight, it'll take like, oh, that sounds like a good moment. And so basically it'll cut up a reel for me and I can put it out as promo. And if I like it, I'm like, oh, and it'll do like multiple throughout the whole hour. I mean, it's a subscription. I know it's scary as
That's
shit,
amazing. I mean,
but
wow.
it's kind of cool. I mean, it made me go, I could do a podcast. I was like, oh, I
Right?
could do it. Yeah, because I don't have to like do all the legwork on it. And also when
Yeah.
it records, so this looks blurry, but when it records, it like takes it's like 1080 at the very least. So we're going to be crystal clear on this, even though we're on janky, webcams. It does a pretty good job. So
I'm impressed.
I'm impressed. I was like, yes, I'll pay this for just starting my own bullshit for, and see how it goes. And,
Yeah.
it's like worth it. It's fun, and this is like a nice outlet to just like talk to my friends
Yeah.
who are fancier than me
No,
and hear about.
please, that's what we all do. That's great.
Yeah, no, I've been dying to do this sort of format of anything for a long time, and I just haven't pulled the trigger. So this is kind of nice. Thank you for first of all, thank you for like being
I'm so
willing
glad
to.
we figured out a time.
Well, you've been busy as hell, and I've been busy as hell. But
So busy.
you,
We've both been so busy.
you've been killing it. Like,
Thanks.
I'm gonna give, I'm gonna do a proper, like, I'm gonna do a
Okay,
proper, like, cheesy introduction here. Like,
great.
I'll just say, so my guest today, it's weird to host. It's weird to say my guest because this is my friend, Emily Goglia, who's amazing. She is a triple threat. She's more than a triple threat, but she's been killing it. She's a producer. First of all, she produces her own show, and I believe is it monthly or is it bi-monthly
It's
now?
monthly.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's monthly at the Moon Room, right? Or
Yes,
did
for
you
now.
yeah, for now at the Moon Room. Yes, yeah, she's producing a show for herself, and it's monthly, and it might move, it might not, who knows? But it's kind of it's like it's your own script, and it does a nice pivot transition into a lot of some original material, but also a lot of stuff that's from.
It's mostly like musical theater
Yeah,
songs that I like will change into
yeah.
fitting into my life,
I
I
think that's
guess.
brilliant. I think that's
Yeah.
awesome. So it's basically it's a one person show, and you're just it's amazing. I have not seen it, and so because I've been too busy, and
Yeah,
I feel
man.
bad. I feel badly because I'm like a bad friend because I haven't supported you on this. But
Oh my God, please. I don't get mad at anyone for not coming. I think it's a really fun night. So like, but it's monthly, and so like, come at one point.
when's the next one so we can blast this out? Because I think I'm going to put your podcast out first, and that way if people tune in, they can like tune into you. So
Well,
when is it?
great. Well, it's the third Monday of every month.
Great.
So next month is December, and that's December 16th.
Amazing. And what's the best way to find information about what you're doing on
I
your
think
Instagram?
just my Instagram. Yeah, I
And
like
what
make
is that?
updates there. It's at Emily Goglia, Goglia.
Get on it, folks.
Yeah, and so if I have to randomly like move a date or if I have to cancel a show, which has only happened once, I will post it on there. And then the tickets are like through Eventbrite and they're totally inexpensive. It's an affordable night. And yeah, so if I have to change anything, it'll happen. If you've already bought a ticket, you'll get an update. But it doesn't change. It's on the third Monday of every month. I don't know. I'm talking about it changing.
No, it's cool. Well, you talk about it changing because we're inflex artists who are local
Always.
in LA, and
Yeah.
anything can change at the drop of a hat. And you might get a session, or you might get something where you have to go, and we all know how that goes. We peace out and we go to the session.
We go to the work.
We go to work if we have
Go
to.
to the
And
work. Yeah.
I do the same thing with comedy because comedy is not like a huge money making hustle for me right now. So I'm just like, I'll take the gig when I have the space in my schedule because I'm passionate about it and I want it to
Yeah.
become a hustle like you.
Yeah.
I think with this, but when stuff comes up, you just got to be like, all right, I'm a singer. This is what I do for a living.
Right.
I have to
Yeah.
pay bills.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I think that's awesome that you stay in this creative, because I want to talk to you about a couple things. Because we had to humble brag recently on our socials, for
We
like
did.
things that we did. And I want to talk about that landscape given
Here's my cat. Sorry.
Kitty. My dogs are upstairs because they make way too much noise. They're old and they hack. So it'd just be like I hack, they hack. It would just be an hour of hacking. It
Oh
would
my
be
God,
back
too
and
much
like
hack.
too much
Hacks is a
hack.
popular show though,
And
so
I'm a
it's
hack.
good.
So
Yeah, we're
yeah,
all hacks. It's
we're all
fine.
hacks. No, but seriously, yeah, I lost my train of thought. I'm so
No,
sorry.
I'm sorry. I just want because we're filming, I was like, oh, here's my cat.
No, I'm glad you
You were
did.
talking about humble bragging and how we all have to talk about what we're doing.
I need to have this conversation with somebody, especially somebody that's had a social media degree, like to their credit. Can I say that out loud? Can I
You can, but honestly, I think it's
change?
out of
Yeah.
date. I think it's out of date. Like when I got my master's, TikTok, we didn't learn about TikTok. So like it was a totally different world and it is hard to keep up with.
It is. It's ever
It's hard to keep
changing.
up with.
Yeah. And the mothership of whatever, social media is, the mothership is kind of changing too. It's kind of in flex. We don't know if it's going to stay TikTok or
No.
Instagram or
And
what it
Instagram's
is.
trying to be everything and Facebook's trying to be everything and well, TikTok's very TikTok, but like is it staying around and like
Yeah.
it's just like and now there's blue sky and
Yeah. There's
there's like
that.
I can only concentrate on so much. So me personally, I am obviously trying to grow my TikTok following, which is I think incredibly hard.
Yeah.
And
Agreed.
I have a nice Instagram following and that is the format I understand.
Same.
And I am proud of that one. I'll
No,
say
I'm
that.
proud of it. I understand.
I'm a
It's
millennial.
difficult.
There's only so much I can do.
No, I mean it's like because once like it infects the job that you're doing, I think like because of that hustle and you can't concentrate on what you have to do, it becomes so it
It's
goes
a whole
from
other
very
job.
yeah, it's a whole other gig.
I
Exactly.
mean, like I find so my show is called The Limelight Club that I
Right.
do every month.
Yep.
And I find that I am putting more time into promoting it than I am preparing for the show. And
Yeah,
like I'm lucky, I'm very quick. I can put a show together and give you a great product very quickly. But like imagine if I had the time to like
yeah.
actually rehearse it or something like that. My God, but all of my time is going to promoting it. And I get people there. It's great. And it's still a great show. But like social media takes so much time.
I agree. I think I have an email list of over 150 now that goes out
Nice.
for the for like the shows.
Yes.
You might get a return of you know maybe 5% from that might show up from or just even like we'll shout back, hey, I can't come.
Yeah, I
You might
know.
get 5% that says, by the way, I
Oh my
can't
God, when
come.
I get any response on one of my emails, I'm like, oh my God,
Same.
thanks for reading it.
No, exactly. It's like thanks for not just going. Yeah. I feel the same way. I'm a quick study too. I think we all have to
Yeah,
be doing what we do. We have to
in our
memorize
life. Yeah.
fast. Yeah, we have to just digest the information so fast. So that part becomes a whole skill set within itself. But you have to have sleep and you have to have be in the moment to do
And
that. You
have
can't
the space for creativity.
imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine what that would be like.
Like, but I work really well under pressure. So even if I'm
Me
like,
too.
okay, I'm going to prepare early, the whole thing changes by the time I get to the showtime because I'm like, well, this is funny now.
Yeah.
My whole,
Yeah.
my, like, my life has changed in the last month. So I'm going to talk about this part of it. It's very personal. My show is really personal. So if you come, you're
I
hearing
can't wait because I
really
think
personal shit stories.
no, comedy's the same way. If you're not talking about yourself and being vulnerable, it's not funny, you
Right.
know? Because the minute you open the wound to the world, one you're ready to, and it's not a wound anymore, but it's a past wound. But you're
Yeah.
vividly expressing that wound as being real in the
Right.
moment. Like it becomes real, it becomes funny, and depending on your timing and your play on it, you have the choice in that moment, especially with like a one person show. You have the choice to make that funny, sad, both, all these
Yeah.
things, and take us on this journey. I think when you're ready to talk about the most vulnerable stories is when you get the best shit. Absolutely.
Totally.
It's like when you can really, and it takes a lot. I mean, I'm used to, as you are, I'm used to playing a different character, not myself all the time. What I'm realizing is you're playing yourself the whole time when you're doing it well, and you're
Yeah.
just finding yourself through the lens of that character so that there's a bit of honesty. And I'm realizing now when I watch people on camera and stuff, all these really amazing actors, there's very few that really jump out into a completely different being. They really are playing. There's a layer of themselves in there to make that
Yeah.
thread, and I'm
Oh my
just
God.
realizing that now, kind of weirdly.
Yeah, I heard a really cool quote the other day that I can't even quote here, but it's like acting is not becoming another person. It's seeing and this is stupid. It's been seeing the world through their eyes
No, that's
or
yeah,
taking them and seeing the world through your eyes.
yep,
Here I am being an actor and I can't do the acting quote. But like a little bit of ourselves is going to be in everything that we do.
yeah. If it's going to be authentic, I think that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like our own past experiences, that's how we have empathy and that's how we're going to relate.
Don't you feel like though that at first, at least for me, I was jumping into shit that was like, I know I'm gonna play this character, and it was horrible. It was like, what are you doing? Like,
I
what are
mean,
you?
I'm sure I don't know how to yes, of course, but I've been acting since I was like I've been doing like since I was a baby. Like
Yeah,
my first
same.
lead role was when I was 10. So
Nice.
like yes,
What was it? What was your lead role? And when you were 10?
Annie. Annie. Yeah.
Amazing.
Like I was playing Annie when I was 10. My mom was Miss Hannigan.
No
Um
way. Was it a
yeah,
local show? Was it what was the level of the show?
it was like high community theater.
Nice.
But it was a 3-month run.
Wow.
Like it was really well regarded. It wasn't I wouldn't call it a regional theater because I don't think it was an equity house, but it
But
was
it
it was
was
nice. It was like high quality.
yeah.
Yeah.
Where was that? Was that here or was
It was
that
it was you know where the Canyon Club is?
no? Where is
It's
that?
a music venue now, but it used to be a dinner theater. It used to be the Canyon Club dinner.
I love a good dinner theater.
Yeah, man, it was great. I got free dinner
Yeah.
and I did my show
And you
every
cut
night.
your teeth on that kind of stuff. Like
Yeah,
that's
man.
the yeah, I did
My God, I did
yeah.
so many shows there. And then I was also doing children's theater. Like actually my first lead actual role may have been Dolly in Hello Dolly.
Oh my God, that's one of my
So
favorites. That is
I
one of my
I
favorite
mean, talk
shows.
about talk about becoming a character. I had no idea what she was talking about. This is about a woman who's lost her husband, and I'm like literally 10, being like, "What?" Like before the
You're like,
parade
hey,
passes by, like
let me tell you about life.
the parade. I haven't even joined the parade yet.
It's
Like,
like there is no parade.
no, I like thought they were actually talking about like a parade, not
Right.
life. It's fine.
It's fine. It was still it still was an experience. I remember I sang a song at a competition one time when I was like 12, and it was about like unrequited love.
Right,
And they were like, "Okay, good job. You know nothing about this piece, but good singing." It was like, "You know
right,
nothing." about
right.
life.
But I mean, songs are written by adults, so it's hard. You grow into it. But like, I played the baker's wife in college
My
in
favorite
Nature
role.
Woods.
My favorite role. Well, the baker obviously is like a dream, but like
You'd be a
that.
great baker.
Well, that's kind. The baker's wife to me is just like that's the crux of it. That's the crux of the whole show. That's the
Yeah, and
part
I
that
was so upset at the time that I wasn't the witch,
eh
and I got unupset about it. But I think that like now I
play
could
the witch.
really play the baker's wife. I mean, I would love to play the witch, but I still have time. But like the baker's wife now compared to what I played her when I was 20.
Yeah, for sure.
My God, I actually know what they're dealing with and what the stakes are, what it means to be in that kind of relationship and not being able to have a baby and like, I mean, all of that. Like,
Yeah, that moment after Moments in the Woods, right? You know, that coming of that coming to realization right there that she has in real time in the woods is such I mean, talk about a moment, right? Like that
yeah,
to me.
right.
That really that I did that show when I was like 18. I was Jack,
Yeah.
and it's one of my favorite, shows of all time. It was community theater, and um, it it just had all of Sondheim's shows that I've done have had a huge impact on me. Like those have been the shows that have really hit me the hardest. Sweeney Todd and Into the Woods.
Oh my
Those,
God, I
I know
haven't
it's
been sweet.
Tobias. Yeah, I know it's Tobias, and it just yeah, it really affected me in a really cathartic way. And I'm a musical theater, especially a golden age musical theater kind of nerd at heart.
Me too. I mean, you'll love my show then.
Yeah, no,
My whole show's like golden age.
I love that shit so much,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what I grew up on. And then they were like, "Hey, by the way, you could sing opera," and so that's why I took that bait and went down. I love opera. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm an opera singer. I do all that stuff, but
Yeah.
my heart is still like, aching to play Tony in West Side Story,
Yeah,
even
man.
though I'm
I mean,
51.
but yeah, like
Yeah,
that is what I'm realizing too with doing this show in Los Angeles every
yeah,
month. There is a world. People love musical theater. And I think for a really long time, everyone, including myself living in this city, because I was like, no, I'm a session singer. Like, I don't do musical theater. Or like, I'm a straight actor. I don't do musical theater. And like, musical theater is singing and acting together in the same show. Why wouldn't we love it? Like, if we're singers and actors, and like, we all the hot guys that we love right now in Hollywood are all musical theater.
yeah, yeah,
Most of the women, like, there is this underground love for musical theater in this town that I think is like that is untapped. And
I agree.
I've like this show has people coming back every single month because it's just a love story to that art form,
Well,
you
and
know?
it's also like it's a broken down version of it, so there's a casualness to it. They're getting a taste. It's
Accessible.
it's sort of like an amuse bouche to like it's to like clickbait you into going to a full show, as
Yeah.
far as I can tell.
Yeah,
And you have
exactly.
famous people coming to sing with you there.
I do.
Holy shit! Let's talk
Yeah.
about that. Actually, I'm gonna say. I want to segue into your stage moments, but we have to talk about this. This is so cool.
Thanks.
Kristen Bell come in and just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna come do a duet with you. Let's go.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I think the coolest part of all of it is that she asked me. I didn't ask her
That's
to
awesome.
do it. Yeah,
That's
she
really
like
cool.
she was like, "Hey, are you like ever gonna invite me to come sing a duet with you or something?" And I was like, "Oh my God, are you serious? I've been too embarrassed to ask." And she said, "Well, I'm embarrassed that I'm having to ask."
That's really cool. I mean, she's part of my favorite show on
Amazing.
Netflix right now. Like that
It's so good.
it's so good. And I mean, I'm a huge fan of I've been a huge fan of hers
Me
from the
too,
get
man.
go. But then the fact to find out how well she, I sang on Frozen way back, and to find out how she could sing. That was my second session. Yeah, it's been a weird journey. I mean, you never know. You were like, "What is this?" And then all of a sudden, we're like, "Wait, what?" We're like, "What is Frozen?" I don't even know what that is. And then, because you walk in the room, you don't know. It's got some code name. The movie for those not knowing. Hi audience. Session singing, often when you sing for a film on a score, you walk in the room. You often will not, unless you know the composer or the contractor personally, and they're giving you information that they shouldn't give you. Basically, it's buried knee deep, maybe waist deep in NDAs, and there's no way of really knowing what you're singing for unless you sometimes turn around and see what might be showing on the screen behind you as you're singing, because it'll have a
But
code
often they
name.
won't even show that because the NDA is so intense, like that last movie that we just sang
That
on.
last one that we just did, which we can talk, I think we can talk about, but I don't know for
Like,
sure. Yeah,
I think so. There,
yeah, we sang on Wicked. I
yeah,
mean,
we
and it
sang on
was
Wicked, which is like the most exciting thing I've ever done.
same.
But they kept it so under wraps. The code name was Gershwin, and am I allowed to say that? Whatever.
I think so. I don't know. I mean, I can edit it out.
Um,
I don't. No one's who's gonna. I mean, listen. I'm
yeah,
a new podcaster.
yeah, it's
Five
fine.
people will probably tune. Thank you for coming in, because
Oh
five
my
people will
God.
watch this.
But like there is, I don't know if you remember this, Todd, but I got so excited singing that music, the Wicked music, that John Powell, the composer, was like, I think Emily just realized what show we're singing, what movie we're singing on.
Yeah,
Because I like could not contain my excitement. And you know, those sessions are so serious and like very, very intense. And John Powell really makes this, it's such a wonderful atmosphere. It's fun, it's professional, but it's fun. And he's like in it with us. And I just love working with him
he's well. First of all, he's one of the best composers I've
ever.
and also like he's goat level, composer. And then we're very lucky, obviously, that we get to do, to get to sing any of his music or know him personally, which I'm really grateful for all those, all those things. It's still sort of like yeah, I know him and he's a cool dude and he's just like a normal guy.
Right.
And then we do this amazing work. But I think that's part of it, is that he brings it. One of the reasons I do comedy, and for better or for worse, I really don't give a fuck, but I don't like the pretentiousness of what we do. And I don't like the seriousness of what we do. I take it seriously, but I don't like the clinching of it all. It just bothers me. And I don't know. And I know it bothers others for me to talk about this, but again, I do not care. Like, I feel like that is something in this business that doesn't need to be clinched to so hard. Like, we need to be serious. We're doing serious work. What the fuck are you doing? Solving cancer? Like, we're just singing on a fucking score, man. Like, we have to be good and we can't fuck it up. That's fair. But that does not mean you need to stack that much stress weight onto the bar to try and go ahead and lift it now, motherfucker. It's like, it's sorry to swear so much, but like,
no, but I mean, like, so much of film is like that, I think,
Yeah.
because time is money.
Yeah,
And
I get that.
It comes from that, and it comes from, and that's when when you're on a relaxed set too. It's so nice.
Yeah.
Hold on, my air came on, and I feel like
Do
it's
it.
gonna mess up the
That's fine. No problem.
better. I didn't want to mess up the audio.
No, you're good.
Yeah, and anyway,
Yeah,
you sang on Frozen, which is
Yeah, it was insane. And it was one day, and I think it was a full day. And again, I don't think any of us knew what we were getting ourselves into, better or worse. I think I'd done 2 or 3 movies right away, and got my Taft-Hartley, and then had to do the Must Join and the monthly payments, which were just like astronomical. And I'm like, am I doing this? Should I join? Am I going to get called again? Am I good? All the questions that we all
constantly have.
Yeah, like, we're like, I know I might be good, but we know it's a deep bench and we don't know who's going to get called. And what if this is the only one I do? And I had done 2 other films, Pacific Rim, which was like a monsters transformery sort of thing. And then I did this Romeo and Juliet that had this amazing score, and the movie the movie was not amazing. It was
Really?
like, yeah, when it popped out, it had like 12% on Rotten Tomatoes, and they had like, yeah, and I was so upset. I was like, because they, like, people were in the room, were like, you ready to sing on an Oscar score? We're like,
Right.
fuck yeah. And we sing on it, and we're like, this score was really good. Yeah, the score was really good. Oh, it's so beautiful. We get out there, and then it's just like, as soon as we saw the Rotten Tomatoes, and so I was like, I think it was like one of those, you've ever pulled up for those that are in SAG-AFTRA, you do residuals and all that, you pull up your residual tracker, and when you see the negative come in, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Do I owe money for singing this? Yeah.
Right. I think this is the first movie. Wicked might be the first movie that like is a major hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's hard to have a major hit anymore with the structure,
Yeah, I sang on Wish.
Yeah, so did my wife. Yeah, that's right. You and my wife both sang on it. Yeah.
That was my first Disney film I'd ever
That's
sung on.
huge.
I'm
That's
still
huge.
working my way in,
We all are.
Yeah, right. You're like, yeah, I know. So I was like, that's amazing, but then it didn't do so well.
Well, I don't. That's the thing. It's like I don't know what the magic pill. I mean, it has to be so big now because yeah,
Listen,
I've done a few of those too, where it's like, oh, this is new and it's really cool. It's like it was new and it was cool and went right to streaming, and you got one nice payout from it, and you have to realize it's a different structure. It's hard to know how that's gonna work.
yeah.
Um, I
I
want to
do.
pivot. Oh, wait, go ahead.
Sorry,
What were you gonna
nothing. I
say?
just love being in the room. Like I love doing a
That's
session.
me
That's all
too.
I want to
It's
say. Like
I just
because we just started talking about the money, but like
I know I didn't mean to. Yeah,
no, I know we all do it, but it's like I love being there. I am so excited to walk onto the not the set, the sound stage and be on the lot and just like be making and like the fact that we sang on Wicked and it was recorded in the same studio where they recorded Somewhere Over the
Wisdom.
Rainbow.
I lost my shit. Like I
And we
was.
found that out. Like
I've
that's why
had.
the rainbow's on the studio lot. It's on the Sony lot, and I'm just like, I cannot believe that I am singing on the score of the musical that literally changed my life, taught me how to sing, and is about women, which is amazing, and that it's in the same place about the movie that changed my life. Judy Garland changed my life. Like, are you kidding? And it's all connected, and The Wizard of Oz and Wicked, and that's all. It's so cool. I love being part of it.
I'm in the same boat with that. My sister is a huge fan, of growing up and stuff. She had all the books and stuff, so I was immediately inundated with all the Wizard of Oz stuff. We watched as a family every year. As I got to college, I'd play Pink Floyd to it.
Oh my God, yeah, man.
It's had a whole arc, in my
Yeah.
life, and then to follow up, yeah, again, to not talk about the money, we'll say, because I this was more that was more about a conversation about like how do singers make a living? It's like
Right. Yeah, exactly.
pray, but
I don't know.
I'm still trying to figure that out. But even with session work, but the thing is when you're in that room with that many good, like the best singers in LA, and sometimes they fly from elsewhere to come to LA to sing if they're chosen. It's amazing. You're with some of the best musicians, composers, filmmakers, and you do get to see kind of like how the sausage is made. And I get real fangirly about it too, because to me it's like this is everything I've ever wanted to be. Like I've always, you don't really care about the money. You just want to be in the room. You just want to see how it's so freaking cool.
It's
It's
like it's so cool. Like, and I was able to show because there were some secret videos taken of us recording part of
right.
it, and I was able
Yeah,
to show
yeah.
my parents and like my dad has worked on film sets. My dad is a studio guy.
Oh, I didn't know that. Nice.
My God, yeah, the movies are the family business, but
That's
like
cool.
we hearing see being able to show that to my dad and have him see because he's a painter, like he's never seen this part of it, and I've
Wow.
seen what he does so much, and it's just like there's so many things that go into making a movie, and I love it. Oh God. Anyway,
Your
we can
dad's not
pivot.
just
I
a
can talk
set
about
guy
it
though. He's an
forever.
art. No, but your dad's not just a set guy. He's an artist. I mean,
Yeah,
that's.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
My
every
dad's the one painter that he's called the standby. So he's the one. The set painters come in, they do everything, they leave, and then while they're filming the movie, they keep one person on set
yeah,
to fix or like do anything from like this pigeon poop is the wrong color. Can you make it look better on camera? Or like,
yeah.
oh, we're seeing the reflection of the camera in the car. Can you paint the car so it still looks shiny, but we can't see the
Wow.
reflection of the camera anymore? My favorite one is that in Moneyball. Did you ever see
Yeah, of course. I love that
it?
movie.
It's so good.
Great
Brad
film.
Pitt is throwing his what a baseball, hello, his baseball up against the wall, but they were really using the actual offices of
Yeah.
this set, so they couldn't smash the wall in. So my dad had to paint so that it looked like he'd been throwing it in the same spot for years, but it didn't ruin the wall. Like they
Right.
could take it off
He had
after.
to like shade that wear and tear
Yeah,
and make that look three-dimensional and
movie
have all that
magic,
when it
man.
was that's so awesome. That I could
And
talk to
he's
him
all
for a long time.
self-taught. Like, oh my God, I love my dad.
That's even cooler to me.
Yeah,
The fact that he's self-taught. That
he
to
just
me
like has
is
time for that stuff.
we kind of like all like whenever we pick up new hustles though, we kind of all are self. I mean, we have to if we're gonna do it, we have
There's a
have
type
to
of
just.
person that is, and it's the people in the arts. Because
It
you're
is
just
true.
thrown in and you're like, ready, go.
Yeah, I can't think of any like I took a comedy class and all that kind of stuff thinking back on new skill sets and things like that and I'm like, you just have to do it.
Yeah.
You just have to do it and figure it out. I'm sure that's what he did was do it and figure it out and had a knack for what he does. That was his skill set and he's like, "All right, I can figure this out." All right, I'm going to ask you some questions. You ready? Some
Sure.
poignant questions. Here we go.
Yes.
So, this whole premise of my podcast is really just to talk about kind of moments from the stage. I called it strange stories from the stage, but I kind of want to talk about because you are a stage animal. I am too. Love being on stage. I feel more comfortable there than I do anywhere else, pretty much, except for maybe the couch after a performance with like a cheeseburger and a beer and maybe a gummy. I don't know. Not maybe. So I kind of want to talk about like, do you have some moments that you're thinking about on stage that maybe are poignant? I'm gonna turn my Roomba off because I just heard it like take
Oh my
off.
God, I don't hear it, but
Well, I hear it. It's gonna annoy me, so I'll
okay,
be
great.
right
Go
back.
do
I will
that.
be right back. Go do if you have something to do. Go do it, and I'll be right
Okay,
back. All right.
great. I'm gonna sit here with my cat.
It makes such a racket, and it's so necessary because we live close to the beach, and there's a lot of dust, and it just like it makes all the difference on our floors. But like,
Yes,
yeah,
it's fair.
yeah, robot vacuums. So, do you have a favorite moment on stage? Like, do you have one that's just like you can talk about that you like one of your top fives that you always comes back to you?
I mean, the first one that's coming to my mind is a recent one, which
Great.
yeah, which is I learned an entire lead role for Reefer Madness in one day
Wow.
to go and th that is what happened. And that's how I met Kristen Bell, is because she was a producer and also stepped on the stage that day. To tell the story better is that everyone in that cast came down with COVID. It was this past summer. And
Wow.
the year before was in a transparent musical that was at the Mark Chaper Forum. And
Nice.
I came into that during tech. So I learned the whole show. Um, and that was a featured role, which I think is really hard as well because I'm learning choreography, I'm learning chorus parts, I'm learning everything. I learned that all like while they were lighting the stage. People were teaching me the choreography, and then by the time they were done lighting the stage, okay, great, I knew that song, and then we'd run it, and then it was like done. So I've kind of have this reputation about being quick. I'd also like done Evita in 3 days. Like I am like quite quick. And so when everyone came down with COVID, the music director was like, "Hey, are you available?" And I was like, "I do not know this show at all. I don't. I saw the preview in May. It was now July. So I'd seen it once and not even the version of the show that was like on
Yeah.
stage right
You
now.
saw it around the same time I saw you for Clayton's show, probably around that time, right? That was
Which
for Clay for
yes,
the yeah, it was about that time. It was about May. Yeah.
yeah. And anyway, they were like, I will send you all the music. Can you go on stage tomorrow night?"
Holy shit.
And they took me out of one song that was like a choreographed, like she was basically an ensemble part of a bigger song. So they just like took me out of that. And that was the only adjustments they made. And I had a put in rehearsal and then I went on. And it was
How'd it feel?
crazy. It was surreal. I'm incredibly proud of myself. Like, I was like, that was impressive, even for me when I know I'm quick.
Yeah.
Like, but it was pretty out of body experience. The second night felt a lot better because I was able to like really be in it. I'm like, okay, I've done it now. Like, so
Right.
I went on for that whole weekend, and
So three
it was
shows, was it, or four?
it was only two because they
Okay.
had to cancel one show because of COVID.
Yeah. But still, like
It
getting to
was
do
crazy.
a rep on that show after having to learn it is pretty special. Like
It was
getting,
great. And then I
yeah,
ended up coming in a couple of times later, always last minute. So like no one I know saw it. I was like, hey, like I found out at 4
yeah.
p.m. the second time I was doing it. I got a call. I was like, hey, can you go on tonight? And I was like, yep, like great. And I live close, and I'd come from another gig for that one, and like I was able to get my dad a ticket, which was good.
Well, that's
But
good. Yeah.
like so, at least my dad's seen it, my mom's seen it, my sister's seen it. But
Yeah.
it was just it was crazy. Like it was so fast. I like, and she's this huge character, and it would have been really nice to really dig my teeth into it. I actually I was supposed to do the last part of the run,
Yeah.
but then I booked Audrey and Little Shop.
Right.
So
Which
then
I
when that closed, I was supposed to do the rest of the run after that closed, and then Reefer ended up closing, so I didn't do it. But that would have been nice to like really get it in me. So I hope I get to do it again because it was the most fun I've ever had on stage. She gets covered in blood. Like it's like dramatic, it's big belting, it's high comedy, it's camp.
it's right up
Like
your alley.
it's
It's like the stuff you love to do.
it's
Yeah.
exactly what I love to
Yeah.
do.
And I saw that picture with the blood. I mean, it's amazing. Yeah, it's
It's so fun.
incredible. Yeah.
And Kristen was also on that weekend, and so then it was super sold out
Yeah.
because everyone had COVID, and so like we brought like a couple of swings in. I went into the lead, then Kristen went into her part that she did originally. She originated the role into the movie and everything,
Right.
and so we were just like, here we go.
So when you do that and it's that fast like that, I have a question because I know like when I have a friend, really close friend, who just got called up to the Met because somebody went down sick and like got pulled into Il Trovatore like last minute, and he's now he's really very much how I think this is going to happen for you is like once you show you can like man up or woman whatever do the thing and like and kill it like that.
Yeah,
They know that you're reliable and they will call again. And he immediately got called again and did
yeah,
another performance and also is doing something next season, and which is awesome. But like what I was going to say is they have prompters, they have things like they have little cheats baked into there. Do you have any cheats when you're up there where you can like you have anything to grasp onto when you're up there? It's just you go, you know it,
no.
that's it. Zip flop go.
Luckily for this role specifically, the scene and this show specifically, the scenes were pretty short.
Okay, so you could go study or
So
see something.
basically,
Yeah,
I had like a cheat sheet script
right,
backstage that was just my scenes.
right.
And so I'd look at it before I go on. I mean, I have like that app. I have this line learner app that I put my lines into, and then I listen to the other lines and I do mine. And if it's well written, you don't have to think that hard because you're just
True.
responding.
Yep,
Like,
yep.
someone, like, even if I don't know my next line, I respond to what they're going to say. We get to the spot. Like,
You're
I'll
telling the
remember my
story.
line by
Yeah,
the time it comes to it. Right.
right.
So no, and the other great thing for him and for me and for him probably is that everyone else on stage knows what they're doing. So in these crazy situations, if something were to go off the rails, I would be pushed to the right place. Luckily, nothing did, and I killed it, and I'm sure he killed it too. Like, if you have the brain for this, but I truly, people are like, "How'd you do it?" And I'm like, I didn't have a choice. I locked in.
Yeah,
I mean, I do hope that someday soon I am not called last minute and I just start getting the roles.
yeah, exactly. I did too
But
because I think you deserve
it's
it.
also
You've done
just
the
like
work.
who you know and
Well, yeah. Well, that's just all. It's you put it out in the universe, and you always have to. I think you always have to believe that if it doesn't come around to you, that there's something else out there for you
yeah,
that's meant for you or whatever. I mean, clearly this was meant for you. As I see it, like that if this moment happened to me, I'd be like, all right, this was supposed to happen, and this happened at a moment that, yeah, okay, was I prepared? No. How could you be prepared? But you're prepared at the same time. You've
right.
done the work before to know. You
This is
know,
how I can
yeah,
be successful. Yeah. But it is weird. Like I actually was supposed to be out of town from May to October this year.
yeah,
And then I had this gut feeling that I should stay in town. And my big New Year's resolution this year was to not travel as much and to try and actually make a career in town.
yeah.
And when I say in town, I mean here in
L.A.
LA or in New
Yeah,
York City. Those are
sure.
both in town for me.
Yeah, no,
But
that makes sense. That makes total sense.
I didn't want to be in, Southeast Asia like I have been for the last few years singing with Disney in concert. And then I was supposed to be doing like a play out of town. And something told me, Emily, don't go. And I felt bad, but like I helped them find a replacement and it was fine. But if I had gone, nothing, I would not have sung on Wicked. I would not have done Reefer Madness. I would not have booked Audrey. I would not have met Kristen. She would not have sung in my show. I would have like not been doing my show. And my show, I think another reason that the creative team trusted me for Reefer Madness was because they'd all come to see my show at one point. Because I'd had a guest from Reefer on my show.
Right.
Everyone came to see it. And so like they were all confident. And it's just putting yourself out there, but I don't know, it's also like listening to your gut because
I
I'm
think
really
that's a,
glad
I
that I
think
did
that's a, I would, I always ask at the end, like, is there any advice to give to others? And I think you just kind of spelled it out. I
that. Mhm.
think that bit of advice is to listen to your gut. And yeah, the grass is always a little greener, right? Like you can, not to make a pun with Reefer Madness either, like, but like literally like it is kind of that way. It's sometimes you're like, if I don't go, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna miss out on something. That fear, that FOMO situation of something, and sometimes you just need to like listen to your instincts and your gut and be okay with it. And it may the opportunities may not present themselves right away, but sometimes
Yeah, because it's
just
so
going
hard
with
to
it.
turn down work when you have work. And I turned it down, and my friends were like, Emily, you are crazy to be turning down work in this economy. And that is true, but it worked out. And
Well,
luckily.
but that work probably leads to only, I mean, it could lead to other things, but like this kind of work has legs differently than that work. Am I right? I mean, in a different way, in a direction that is undiscovered territory for you in some ways, and a territory that you've been seeking for a long time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it kind of landed in the right spot, I
I
think.
think so.
Yeah, I think just go with this because
Yeah.
like it's pretty
Right.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm being better about like saying no to things that I don't want to do.
It's hard. I have that quote like staring at me on my watch. I put little quotes on my watch to stare at me, to keep me. Yeah, it's like a motivational thing. Just
I
so
love
every
that.
time I look at the time, it just says like, don't quit. Like keep going. You got this. Like it's very cheesy, but I need it. Like I personally need that little message saying, you're doing things that you don't get paid to do because you want to be creative. Please don't quit that because there
Right.
will be something about that will come back to you at some point, but you just have to trust it. And it's really hard for me because I'm like, well, I could be taking a gig here or, doing a choral ringer gig, but that to me doesn't, I mean, I love those gigs and everything, but I'm, I'm constantly realizing I've taken gigs sometimes just for the check. Like we talked about the money earlier, just for the check and not for the creative experience that it should be, and there's a balance to that pragmatically, that we all have to do. And we have to be like, okay, I got to take this one. I want to take this one. This might have some things that but this one is just this and it doesn't go anywhere
Well,
after.
what is that quote? It's like it should be one of if you're going to take a job, it should be one of
Yeah.
three
What is
things.
that quote? I know what
It's
you're
like
talking about. Yeah.
it should be like financially fulfilling,
Creatively.
creatively fulfilling, or career connections and career.
Yeah. I think that's
And it
right.
should be two of the things, two of the three for you to take the job.
Yep. That's exactly right. And I think I've
So
done the
like,
one for three a lot is what I'm trying
yes,
to say,
just the check part.
Yeah.
But like, yeah.
And do you feel this goes along with the humble brag thing that I wanted to talk about, but don't you feel like the culture of sometimes what we do is a non-hustle and wait for the opportunities to come to us sometimes? Do you ever, are you, I'm not a subscriber to that, but I did do that for a while and I'm not kicking myself, but I realized that I was in that cycle for a period of years where I was in the master chorale and I still am and I love it. And just kind of doing all those things, but I was just kind of waiting as opposed
Well,
to
I
like
think there's only
chomping at the
so much we
bit.
can do.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
But absolutely, that being an actor is just waiting for the phone to call.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the phone to ring. I don't know. It's like I get so obsessed with the hustle, I think.
Me too.
But I also think like, what if sometimes I'm just like, I feel like I'm hustling, but I'm just actually like a duck
Spinning your
spinning
wheels.
its
Yeah.
spinning your wheels. What am I talking about?
No,
A
it's the
duck
same. It's the
underneath
same.
me,
Yeah.
right? Like working so hard. But it's like, are we just posting into the void? Because like the humble brag thing, I want like I'm posting for two reasons. One, I want my aunt in Texas to know what I'm doing. And also I kind of think of my Instagram as my resume. Like I recently got a job and I hadn't worked for this casting director before, and I went up to him and said, "Thank you for hiring me." And he said, "Oh my God, you made it so easy. You have videos of you singing everywhere." And I was like,
Exactly.
"Okay, I'm not going to feel bad about this anymore."
No,
Like
I don't
we
think there's.
have to do.
This is not to make us. I'm saying this is not to make you feel bad, or
Yeah.
me feel bad, or any of us that
No.
post these humble brags to feel bad. I'm just saying how it affects the how I see how it affects the culture on the opposite side of the doom scrolling, who people who
We weren't there.
may not post but just consume,
Yes.
and then consume in a way that is, I guess, just rip the band-aid up. It's toxic. It's like
Oh my
they're
God, it's
just pissed
toxic for
off.
me, and I post all the time.
Me, I do it. I get mad if I see something that somebody was on and I didn't want to do it. And what's funny to me is like, oh no, I wasn't mad. It's fucking just say you're mad. It's fine. Like
Yeah.
you can be mad. That we all are human beings and have emotions. Yeah, it's unprofessional to be mad, but we all know you're mad. It's
It's just
okay.
like changed the culture so much.
God,
So I mean,
I know.
when I started, when I met everyone in session singing, I met them through the Voices of Liberty at
Yeah,
Disneyland. I was in that.
yeah. Right. That's right. We talked about this a while
Yeah,
back.
and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
way back when, I think we did talk about exactly what I'm going to say, which is that everyone there was like, "Do not post.
Exactly.
Do not post about the job you did." And I still believe that. I still don't like the office for the day, like that kind of stuff. But like, there's no way I'm not posting about singing on Wicked. I'm so
Same.
happy about it.
Same.
But like, so much has changed in those 10 years.
That is a thing because I've been about it for about 10, a little over 10 years, and that it made it really hard for me to post because of the same thing. It was when I first got in, it was some of the same people actually that are in Voices of Liberty, the same crew that I met, and it was like, yeah, this is kind of a club that it doesn't have agents. We're kind of a small
Well,
group.
and still nobody knows about it. Everyone's like, "How do
No,
I get this gig?" And I'm like, "I actually don't know what to tell you.
can't
I
tell
got it
you.
because I did a gig 10 years ago."
Yeah, word of mouth,
So,
literally word of mouth. Like it's like, oh, hire this person, and people come up to like, how do I get in session work? I'm like, I wish I could
I don't
tell
even
you.
know
I'm
how
like,
I got it. I get in.
yeah,
Yeah. Get in
I'm not.
currently.
Yeah, I'm not an authority on this. Like I'm just trying to stay in the room, and do good work and be happy about it and not be, not post when I'm not supposed to. But like this again, like there have been a few films that are are encouraged even to post about. I've been
Yeah.
encouraged to post. And I'm like, wait,
Really?
you just told me years ago never to post about it. You want me to post about it? Okay.
Yeah.
So when I did that, I was like, I made it just like a post I would about any other live event, and that's how I did this one. I was grateful to be there. I'm super excited. I'm not gonna be afraid of being excited about singing on a film, but I'm also gonna tell you how lucky I am to be on it because
Yeah.
we're lucky. It's like we're very it's a thing. Anybody that gets to sing on any film, anybody else's creation like that gets to be part of a huge machine like that and see and just be a slice of it is just that's incredible. It's incredible
Yeah.
to get to do that. So and it's there forever. Regardless whether
Mhm.
it's good, whether it's bad, it's there forever. You could say you're a part of it. Super cool.
Yeah.
Do you ever have a funny moment on stage,
So many.
like a fail or some shit just went like
Yeah, let's see. Once, okay, I did play the witch in Into the Woods Junior.
nice?
Like
So that's first half, right? Then it cuts,
just the
right?
first half, it's so
Yeah,
silly.
yeah. I've
And then
seen.
at the end they sing "Children will listen," but like we are the children. Like the children were like, "We will listen." The funniest thing at that age was that I walked on stage for the transformation. I mean, the witch becomes pretty at the end.
Yeah, yeah.
Forgot my fake nose. So I came out already pretty.
Already hot. You're like, yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, here I
I
am.
like and I remember being like, the air is on my face. Why do I feel the air on my oh no. But I was like,
No.
I don't know, 12, 13.
So the reveal was like not a reveal. Yeah.
Yeah. Another moment from high school. This is fresh in my mind because someone just reminded me of it. I was in the Pirates of Penzance.
I love that show. I've done that show so many times. I've done Frederick and the whole bit.
Of
Yeah.
course you have. Yeah.
Yeah. Love it.
I was just one of the girls,
Which
but
is a fun part, by the way. It's like
So
really
fun.
fun. That's a
So fun.
fun
It was
one
like
of
one of the
yeah.
most fun times I've had on stage.
So that
And
coming over.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, that
Oh my God, yes, exactly. And when they're like, there's something was happening, like they're going off to war, and it was opening. It was
yeah.
the preview or the opening night or whatever. It was high school. My
Soft
mom was
opening,
there.
what have you. Yeah.
Yeah, and my mom was filming, and I got so excited that I decided to do like a kick. I did a kick with my leg, but
Yeah.
my dress was long and didn't have any pull. I don't know what I was thinking. And so it was like a long nightgown that was pretty tight. And so I kicked my leg really hard and it brought my other leg up. Like the dress brought my other leg up and I just fell and like scratched my back along the back of this bench.
Shit.
And my mom has this video of me like filming and it was so perfect because she had like, she's such a mom, like zoomed in on my face.
The
And then
reaction.
all of a sudden, I just disappear because I fell. And so I'm just like, and I fall, and it's so funny. I need to find that video. But I had to, like, I had this deep gash. I almost had to get stitches.
So there was blood.
Oh, there was blood through my white little nightgown.
God.
It was a mess, but funny to think back on. It was pretty funny, man. I can't believe
That
I
is
kicked.
funny.
I can't believe I kicked in a dress that doesn't have room to kick. Like, what am I thinking?
I don't know if I mentioned this on one of the other episodes. I had a Sondheim moment. I was doing night music, little night music
Hmm.
in college. I had a few things. I've already talked about a couple. I split my pants on stage in that show. Yeah, it was crazy. And then I had to we had rolling sets. And so I had to kind of like position my body, very daintily. Like, so when they rolled off the clunky roll off the set, it was like, gunk, 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 gunk. And it was this whole
No.
conversation with my dad, and I just split my pants and I was like, oh shit. But the same production, Petra and I had this moment. I was Henrik and Petra. Miller's son. I'm sure you've sung.
Of
Have you sung
course.
Miller? Yeah. Okay. So there's that moment when things aren't working down below the belt for Henrik, and the curtain opens with my pants down, and Petra's in full. It has a full view of whatever's happening below the belt. I had worn boxers that night. I was a college kid. I was, frat boy. I didn't know what was happening. Didn't have a button. Yeah, didn't have a button, and I just chilling, doing my thing, and doing the scene. And we walk off stage, and later I was like, oh, and I had split the pants. I think when I pulled up the pants, so that it had been like a loose crotch, if you will. It obviously had
God.
been blown out before. And so when I pull up the tight, it's the whole like preacher,
Yeah,
tight
yeah,
sort of
yeah.
black thing. I
Yes.
pull it up and I go blat, and that was when that happened. So as I walked off stage, I went to Petra, and I were pretty good friends, and
Yeah, of
I was
course.
like, "Oh, Shannon," I was like, "Shit, did you see that?" And she goes, "I saw it." I was like, "What are you talking about?" She goes, check the boxers next time for the next show. Just check the boxers. And I was like, okay. And then later I was like, oh God. And
Oh
I
my God.
realized I had just flashed
I
her.
mean, thank God you didn't know at the time, I guess.
I didn't know. I had no idea. And well, yeah, had that been planned, that would have been real douchey. But like,
No, yeah, but even just like realizing it in the moment would have like taken you out.
it
Like,
would have taken me out.
I mean,
That whole production was cursed. I had like laryngitis the opening thing. I had like high B's to sing, and the first night nothing came out. Like my opening night, it was just like a puff of dust came out like on the high B.
no.
I went up to my falsetto, and then it was fine for the rest of the run. But I had like 3 or 4 in a row to do because I was single cast and it was college, so
Yeah,
it was just like boom, 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 boom. They were
that's
like,
it.
we got to get this thing out of the way,
Yeah.
and it was, but yeah, that's really funny that happened to you with the frickin' fall. I think about also like Pirates. I fell on stage one time in Pirates. Yeah, I must be cursed. There's a lot of dancing. There's a lot of
Oh my God. Boats, swinging things.
swing. Do you have a scary moment that happened on stage? Like something that's like terrifying, like that's happened where you thought it was like over, something was gonna like the whole show was gonna go to shit?
God. Well, when I was in Annie, it was so young. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but I think the Daddy Warbucks like had a fight with the production and he quit
Like
on the
during the
day of the
show? Oh,
show,
on the
on
day
during
day of, yeah.
the run. And so I wish I knew the drama of what happened now, but the
Yeah.
director showed up with his head shaved to play Daddy Warbucks.
Oh,
And he was walking around with his clipboard, like he brought a clipboard with his lines, and it was fine. I mean, it was obvious, but like it was fine. Again, it wasn't Broadway, but it got to his song,
yeah.
and he looked at me and he couldn't have his clipboard in his hand because
Because he's
it's
on
this like
stage.
beautiful song that he's supposed to sing to Annie. And he just looked at me and his eyes were just like wide.
God.
And so I started singing his song with the pronouns changed. So
Brilliant.
instead of his song, I think his song is like, I've made me a fortune made 10. And I literally was like, you've made you a fortune made 10. And I sang the whole song and I did that until he learned it, which was like, it took a sec. For a while,
Was it
then
the,
I was
yeah.
doing like half of it at one point. Then he like learned the beginning and I was taking over.
Wow.
It was just make the show happen. Make the show happen.
Well, I have a question for you then, because you were young. Was that the moment that you kind of realized that you were kind of made for this shit? Because like I feel like that is a moment that kind of defines. Those are the moments in the heat of battle, the things that happen like that, right?
Yeah.
Like that you can't really prepare for. They just happen in real time, and there's an instinct in there to do something that I can't honestly say every person that I've been on stage with has, but the people that are meant to do this have that sort of thing. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, maybe like I do think like something else happened when at that same theater I was doing Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat and I was in the kids chorus
Yeah. Great
and
show, by
one
the
of the
way.
wives, love that show. One of the wives got sick and so because I was the dance captain of the kids chorus and I think I'd already done Annie, they like brought me up and I learned the whole show. Like I watched it, but they just kind of put me in place and then I was on that night as a wife. I
Wow.
mean, like it has just like
It's been a thing for
it's been
you.
a thing like
Yeah.
and I was for Grease Live, I didn't audition, but I had someone call me to come in and be like the swing because that was full of a bunch of very famous people, like
Yeah.
Vanessa
Yeah.
Hudgens and
Absolutely.
Carly Rae Jepsen. So they couldn't be at every rehearsals because they were off, being on Jimmy Fallon or doing,
Junkets and that kind of stuff.
you
Yeah.
know, and doing, sold out arenas, Carly Rae. Um, and so I knew like every line in that show and was like hopping up and doing different, like there was a huge run through with, they thought Vanessa was supposed to be back for it and she wasn't. And so I played Rizzo like for the whole run
That's super cool.
and it was really cool.
That's super cool.
It's just like the problem is that just because I do have the brain for it doesn't mean I want to be a swing all the time. It
Yeah.
is like whenever I'm in a lot of girl groups and I know every single part, like, and I'm just like, I just have this brain that's like, I'm able to do it and do it quickly. But yeah, I guess it was like, it started when I was a kid.
Yeah, I think that's, I mean, it's the curse and the blessing, right? For you. Like it's, you don't want that, but at the same way, if that's your pass into it, then you'll
Yeah.
take it. I mean,
Right.
because that's kind of, I mean, at least that's how I would, if it was my, special skill. I'm quick, but I'm not, I mean, people will call me on that kind of stuff and say, you can learn this fast, but sometimes I'll still kind of, there'll be something that I'll be like, oh yeah, sorry. I'll get that next time or whatever,
Of course. I mean, we're all
but,
human. I'm not saying I'm perfect,
but
but
no,
like,
I mean, this is
yeah.
obviously a thing for you specifically that you do well, which is awesome. I think that's so necessary for this for what we do.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's amazing. That's a scary moment. I remember I was doing Man of La Mancha one time, and Man of La Mancha dropped like two paragraphs, and I was doing the Padre, and I had to come over to his deathbed, and the Carrasco looked at me like, what the fuck's
What are
happening?
you gonna do?
And I
Yeah.
I jumped in for half of his thing. Like I did the same thing. I flipped the pronouns to kind of like land us into the story of where we
Yeah.
were, and then like segued into what I had to say to be like, okay, you're dying,
Right,
sort of thing,
right.
and they're like,
Yeah.
let's get you dead so we can roll the credits and have a curtain call and call at the end of the day. But he was just circling. Excuse
Yeah,
me.
like what are we gonna do?
It was
But
scary.
that's what, theater's collaborative. Like
I know.
we all have each other's backs. But that's what I'm saying too, is that like jumping into these last minutes is fine because there is going to be someone on stage that can get us.
I agree. I've had it where I don't know about you. Have you had moments where it hasn't worked out? That I've had moments where it hasn't, where it's been like I've walked away from a performance being like, like, do I quit? Is this it?
Oh my
I
gosh.
just have you had any of those ever?
Not
Like,
really.
that's good.
I mean, I'm trying to think. Like, I've had things where I'm like, oops, that joke didn't land the way I wanted it to.
Yeah, sure.
But like, yeah, no, nothing that comes to mind. I'll think on it though. I'm sure I'll wake up in the middle of the night and be like, oh God.
Like I've had like, vocal fail. I think for me it's the vocal fails. If I've had
Yeah,
like a vocal fail and it was supposed to be a moment vocally and there was
totally.
no option. This is also why I think I was supposed to play characters that have comedy involved because
Yeah.
I'm quick with that kind of stuff, but like when it's supposed to be a serious leading man moment, which is kind of what my voice does, if it doesn't fire that night or I'm sick or something, there's very little you can do to paint your way out of a corner
There
in that
is.
moment.
My God, I know.
So I've had a couple of those, but it didn't make me want to quit. It did make me want to quit like after, like the night of, and
Yeah, yeah,
then
yeah. Well, it's
perspectives
just
like,
like, what are
yeah,
we doing? Like, I can't believe that we have these jobs that, like, if we get sick, we don't get paid. If we
yeah,
get sick, the
yeah,
show doesn't go on.
yep.
I mean, a lot of times, like in, my one woman show and like when you're doing your comedy set, like, luckily, but often out here, there aren't understudies. Only since COVID has, from in the musical theater world in Los Angeles, have there been understudies. Of course, on Broadway, there's understudies, but like, that's why even in LA, with Reefer at this like high quality, like Broadway level show out here, were they bringing in an outside person because there isn't the backup isn't there and
Well,
the
there's no money
funds
for
for
it.
it.
Yeah, they don't budget it because like it's the same with opera. Opera is one of the it's in the top 5 of companies like size wise and quality wise in the nation. It's an
Yeah.
A house. They have huge budget, and it wasn't until COVID that we started having. I mean, we've had covers in the past be there, but it's honestly it's rare when a cover even goes on. It's like oftentimes if a cover if the guy who the superstar that they chose to do the tenor role, do the soprano role, if they go down, I've seen the cover still be in town and then fly somebody in that's
God, you're
famous.
kidding.
I'm not kidding. It's
That.
it's kind of fucked up because like we hired you to be the cover, but this
But you're not
famous
gonna do
person
it.
just did a run at it at the Met, so we're gonna fly them in overnight to come do that, and they're gonna yeah. I've seen some stuff
I don't love
happen.
that.
I
Yeah.
don't love that either. I mean, but often too people that do covers in which is different than swing because of people that do covers will not be in the show at all, but they'll be covering and they'll stay covers for decades sometimes and won't see the stage, whereas if you're swing, sometimes you'll still be tracking on another part, it might be ensemble, you're swinging this part, you're still in the world, you're still in the environment, you still know where the tree stage left is, but these
Right.
people don't know where the fuck they're like going on tape, in the
No,
rehearsal
I
room.
know. I mean, for
And
yeah, I mean, just when I just did Little Shop, I realized that like when they had their understudy rehearsal, because they had one, that like that was the first time they were stepping on the stage to even realize like how the plant works.
that's a
Like,
skill, like to have to cannonball into the ice cold waters,
totally.
hold your balls and jump into that
Yeah.
and just be like, good.
Yeah.
I'm good. It's like going, I'm
Yeah.
going to be good. It's like,
Yeah. And
what?
have the confidence to step on stage. I mean, my God, I know.
And you're being
We're in a
judged,
crazy world.
heavily. You're being judged in that moment.
Yeah.
Like that's your moment. That's kind of the Emily moment. It's like, can you do what Emily does? Like learn the whole role in a day, It's like, but truly, that's kind of the moment. It's like, are you prepared to do this and do a cover run or whatever it is?
Yeah.
It's crazy business.
We are in a crazy business.
Do you feel like things have changed for you with like as you've gotten? I know like with the interpretation of stuff we talked about that, but like with with like roles, with just with age, have as we've gotten older, I've noticed
Yeah.
a calm and an anxiety, but like,
I Yeah, I mean, of course, with life experience comes more of an understanding of whatever role you're playing. Um, but I love like I talk about how my skill is jumping in quickly, but I freaking love rehearsal.
yeah,
I love rehearsal. I love diving into a role. I love getting to know it well. I love getting to play around and seeing which way makes it the funniest or which way makes it the most heartfelt. Like just because I can get away with doing it quickly doesn't mean that's what I like, you
I
know?
agree.
And like
Yeah,
I'm also learning to love, I mean, I'm trying to, but I do love the audition process because that is kind of auditioning on both sides, right? Like seeing how we'll work with the director, how the director will work with us, and also like getting to play that role just for that minute of an audition is really nice.
I can
So
you.
I think that that's like proving to me that I'm doing the right thing.
I agree. I'd like you to talk more about the audition process and loving that, because that to me, I think it's important to do. And I have so many funny failed audition stories that I will literally be laughing in the car after, that I'm just like, oh my God, what a story
Yeah.
that's going to be when I'm done crying about it. But like, there, what's your trick to loving that? That,
Well, I wouldn't say I love it, but
well,
I
no,
would
but you
say
have
like
to love it. What happens in your brain like to love it?
I just try and be like this, like go play the role for a sec. Like I'm trying to not be like prove yourself when I'm talking to myself. You know what I mean? A lot of it also, I love the audition process when the room is nice and the people on the other side of the table seem like they care. And I think that's what makes this audition world and this industry so hard is that so often we go into a room and the people on the other side of the table are just cold
Not
and
present, not present.
not present,
Yeah.
doing emails. And I'm just like, that's what makes it hard. So I try and separate from that. And I just go, you know what? Today I get to play the baker's wife, like in
You
these
get,
five
but
minutes.
it's in the language. It's in the language you used. I get to play the biggest.
Mm-hmm.
It's not I have to audition. It's I get the opportunity to play
Play the
this
baker's wife
role for
right now.
somebody that's never seen it. Yeah,
Yeah. And sing this song in my way, in my interpretation.
and they're giving me this opportunity to do that. Like
Yeah.
it's like a gift. Yeah,
Yeah. And like as we get older too and get and in person auditions are coming back, like I get to see my friends at these
yeah,
calls.
yeah.
I would much rather just be offered the part, of course.
Well, yeah, but it's an opportunity to practice too. I mean, an
Yeah.
audition is an opportunity, is a rep. You know, you get to do it. It's another rep. You know, you get to do, and life is kind of, our life is about reps with intention. You know, as I say, everything we do is about repetition with intention. It's not
I
just
like
about
that.
reps, because that's bullshit. But well, I'm realizing this. You know, okay, if I can just interject and say, being this trying to be a comedian and trying to do comedy for the first time for real, not, just with my friends and being the funny person, or the trying to be funny person, in the
Right.
group, but having to do it on stage and really craft sets and stuff. It needs repetition, just like everything else that we do, in a different way. But what I was realizing is doing some of these open mics, they're like, just do it, just do the open mic, bro. Yeah, such a bro, it's a
Oh my
different
God.
vibe.
Wild.
Yeah, bro, you just got reps, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll do some reps, and I'll go in there and do 5 minutes and just feel like a total fucking idiot, and be like two comics in the back of the room just sitting there like, in the back of the room, just, and so that I'm like, how was this helpful, other than not getting a laugh and feeling that silence, which you need to feel, because there's going to be that as a comic, there's going to be
Right.
jokes that just don't hit and people don't give a shit.
Yep.
But I just started thinking, I wasn't doing this with an intention of what I really wanted that time to be, that precious 5 minutes, which is kind of
Mm,
the time you have in an audition, right? As a
yeah.
comparison. That's where I'm leading to something.
No, this
But
makes
like,
sense. Yes.
but it's like, if you go in with that intention of like, when I do the baker's wife for this audition, my intention is to blank, it's the same as a joke. My intention is to work this joke is to take a little bit more meat off the bone of this premise and just hit 2 more tags than I did last time,
Yeah.
and to relax. And when I do things in that way, it almost shaves the need to do like unintentional mics, you know.
Yeah.
It's like a 2 for 1, you know. It's like
Totally.
I'm immediately, so it's just that little intention that waking my brain up of like I have to know why I'm doing this and what the purpose is. And it's really
Yeah, because if
important in
not, then what
audition.
are we doing?
Well, yeah, but I think we lose it sometimes. Even as an experienced artist doing it all the time, I think we lose focus because we get into this hustle. Like you said, we get addicted to the hustle, and we wonder, like, are we just, like you said, are we just posting into the universe? Are we not
Yeah.
doing it with intention? Yeah. I just was curious about your thoughts on that.
I know. It's just like the only way to survive.
Yeah, totally, totally, totally.
That we're in weird, weird business.
It is a strange, and it's getting weirder. You know, it's getting more weird. It's getting more Wild Westy.
Hmm.
You know, I'm noticing that we're able to kind of I think the good part of it, possibly, I can't tell, but I feel like we're all able to kind of create our own things because there's opportunity to put our own things out there into the universe, whether somebody signs us or not. You know, it's like, well, I can still make it. You know, I can
Yeah.
still make my idea. It may not be as good, or, or may not have the production value because I don't have the money for it, but I can still get the idea across in a really intentional way, you know?
Hmm.
Why I'm doing this, I just want to get better at hosting.
Right.
You know, I just want to get better at like talking on a
Yeah,
mic and
man.
hosting and
And I mean, the
talking to
most
people,
fulfilled
interviewing.
we ever are, I'm sure you agree with me, like but the most fulfilled I ever am is when I'm on stage doing something that I created.
Same. Yeah, yes, there's something about creating something that is about you, that is so fingerprinty, that is so snowflakey, that is so like you can't recreate. Nobody else can recreate it because it's part of your life.
Right.
Yeah,
And like
it's
I
unique.
had creative control on this. This is coming out the way that I want it to come out, and this is my interpretation of this, or yeah.
All the comics talk about that, like that's kind of the difference between being able to be an actor in the business and, they say when they get frustrated with acting, a lot of comedians get called up to do acting gigs, and then they talk about their experience. I'm obsessed with, like, podcasts and listening to them interview and all this stuff, but they
Yeah.
talk about, so many of them talk about like the creative control that they have over this product, that they can go back to it. And they said the one thing that nobody can take away from me is that I wrote this and that I can change it from night to night. I can go to a club tonight and nobody's going to say shit to me, and I can change a joke, and I have total choice, total freedom to do that, to pace it differently.
Yeah.
Because like recitals and for vocalists aren't like a real big thing. I mean, you can put one together and stuff. This to me is the quickest way to make your own product and like put
I
it
haven't
out
even
there and
heard
go.
the term recital in so long.
I'm working on one, like a
Oh my
comedy
God,
one, like kind
great.
of similar to what you
Yeah.
do for musical theater, but like I kind of want to beat the shit out of the classical world, if to the classical artists,
Yes.
Yeah. So, and shop it,
I
shop
love
it.
it. I think that's smart.
Okay, I'm going to look at my little question list because we've just been bantering. But have you broken on stage before? Have you like just busted up, had like a whole like a Jimmy Fallon SNL moment? I would
Unfortunately,
like to call it.
yes.
Yeah.
Luckily, it wasn't in like a play, but it was. I went on tour with my sister with Postmodern Jukebox,
Mm.
and something happened, man, when we were singing a duet, and we were laughing so hard that like the song didn't happen.
That's
Like,
amazing.
I wish I could remember why. It was luckily the audience loved it. Like, because that was like the audience was there to see real
Yeah,
sisters being sisterly.
that's awesome.
And like we had people coming up to us at the end being like, that was my favorite part of the show. I
Right.
love when you guys broke. Luckily. But oh my God, when my sister and I are on stage together, like we were doing a gig together the other day, and it almost happened again. But it's like we can't look at each other. If that's gonna be, if she's the one person that I'm like, I can't even, I'm laughing because I'm not looking at her, and then I'm laughing because I am looking at her. Like there's no
Right.
winning. But man, our song barely happened.
That's
It was like
funny.
barely, it's like we finally got it together. We sang like the last chorus and then ending note, but like, whew, yes.
I think for me, it's that I had, I mean, I had similar experiences with close friends that I could call family that I would do like, we do these morning kid shows for. And it was these opera outreach shows. And once, you do these shows, you do these scripts like 100 times, like more than that. You do these shows more than 100 times, sometimes 200 in a school year,
Yeah.
just cranking them out.
Yeah.
This is pre-COVID, obviously, and kind of died after. But we just get in these moments where we'd start throwing bits into it, or like throwing like added stuff. Scott Levine, I don't know if you know Scott, one of my very, very good friends,
Right.
phenomenal actor, great singer. Does a lot of stuff with pop and stuff like that.
Okay.
Anyway, and Abdiel, who you know, yeah, and I swear to God, we've had so many moments where
Oh my God, that sounds very fun.
the air brakes just hit like in the middle of the show because we had to turn up stage and
Yeah.
forget a line or whatever it is, and just the whole thing just falls off the rails, and we're trying to get it back to the story somehow, and it's an opera, and you're like, what the fuck, like,
Oh my God.
and it's for kids.
God.
Thank God it's for kids. They're the best audience.
Yeah,
They're the most
right.
raw audience you could have. They give you the
Yes.
best, but
Yeah. Oh my
but
God.
being with your sister, that must be like, that's kind of a special moment,
Yeah.
like having that that laugh moment with your sister that's
We talked about it the other day because it almost happened at our gig, and it was like, do you remember when we just lost it that time?
Love it. You both sound phenomenal, by the way, together.
Thank
too.
you.
It's really cool to see, like, you all have to check this out. Like, watch them sing together. It's beautiful. It's really, no, it really is. It's something about sisters singing together, like siblings singing together, that just, I don't know.
Man.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Thanks.
My sister
I love
sings,
it.
and we sing whenever we get. Yeah, she's 9 years older than me, so like she's 60. Yeah, but we still.
Okay. Good.
We still will, like, whenever we see each other, we will still break out into the duets that we knew as kids.
Special,
So,
yeah.
it is. It's very special. Yeah, it's very special. You got anything else you want to talk about?
I don't think so. I've touched on a lot. You've asked good questions.
Good. I hope this wasn't too like crazy and frenetic.
No, not at all. I mean, I always love talking to you, and we have,
Likewise.
yeah, like, I feel like
I was thinking about poolside. I was thinking of poolside
I was
at John's
thinking
house.
about that too.
And I was like, that was a moment. I was like, oh, I want to talk to her more. She's very interesting. And I'm like, she's got a lot to say. And I was like, and I was kind of starting that when we did this. I had just started the podcast, and I just was like, gosh, she's really interesting. I want to talk to her more about like all your life and find out more about you. So thank you.
Oh my gosh, well, thanks.
Yeah, and you're amazing. And I think your huge break is coming, even though you've had many big breaks. I'm not kidding. I really believe in you.
So,
I think you have a wonderful, like, you're amazing. First of all, you're an amazing singer. Like, God, like the belting, Jesus, like,
thanks.
No, it's really, I mean, as a teacher, like as a vocal teacher, I have to teach that skill set to a lot of people, and I know it's difficult, and I know it's a balance of coordination, and just to be able to do that, as you get older, as you get into the kind of the cream of your career, as I would say, like that, to be able to maintain that in the way that you have is,
thank you.
It's amazing, and it's exciting to listen to. It's beautiful, and you've maintained such a nice, like, your beautiful, like, head voice too is it's really good. Like,
thank you.
No, you're a wonderful singer. I mean, there's a reason you belong in the room too. Like you in that room that we get to, the coveted room that we get to sometimes make movies in. It's,
oh my gosh,
there's a reason you were there.
Oh my gosh, it's like imposter syndrome, but thank you.
I have it every day and every minute, and I often will not believe you if you say, no, Todd, you belong there. It's like, I'm like, I don't know who I paid in my sleep to get here, but and where that money came from.
I know. I mean, it's like, it's even like, I'm not in master chorale, but I don't think I have the time for that, but I'm in choral lab.
Yeah, which is incredible, by the way.
I freaking love it. And I get such imposter syndrome there. And then I remember, okay, wait, I auditioned.
Yeah.
It was a very hard audition. I had to sight read a lot. I had to blend with everyone. I had to have good intonation. Okay, Emily, you're supposed to be here. But it's just like,
well,
we're surrounded by so many talented people all the time.
Well, honestly, like, you and I were not choral singers, like, in terms of, like, we both cultivated the skill set of being a solo artist. And that's the lane that we prefer to drive in, to be honest. I think, if I being honest about both of us. And so to hone in something that other people only like to do, like some people don't want to find their light. They just want to be part of that. And to be part of that is, I think, is special to be able to like cultivate a different skill set with the thing that we've chosen to train. And it's kind of a different lane, and there's a different coordination with that, like physically, and mentally.
Yeah.
You can't be in the front of the, look at me. It's not that. It's like, let's join in this other 100 voices.
No one noticed me.
Please do. Yeah, I do not. I'm not here. I'm not here. I am, but I'm not.
I am. Like, please remember that I was here, but also like, don't notice me. Yeah.
I'm not here.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's that sort of thing. Yeah.
It is. It is. It's, I mean, we both do so many things, and that is how to stay successful in this business. I think, like,
I agree.
We can't just do one thing. Like, people ask what your dream job is, and I'm like, the thing, like, when I am on stage doing my one-woman show, I'm like, this is my favorite thing. I want to do it forever. When I'm in a show doing lines, I'm like, this is my favorite thing. When I am on set,
it's that same,
and I am saying lines in front of it, and the camera's right here, I'm like, this is my favorite thing in the world. And then when I'm in a session, I'm like, this is my favorite thing. I want to do this every day, And
it's all of it. It's all of it. I think it's okay for it to be all of it. I think it's okay. I just think it's when you stop creating, I think, is when you start scrolling. And for me, and I just don't want to start scrolling. I just want to keep making things, and putting it out there. So I think you too. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, congrats on doing this podcast. I think it's great.
Thanks.
I'm excited.
We'll see where it goes.
All the other ones. Yeah.
Thanks. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. It's going to be fun.
Wait.
It's fun to make it. I'm excited to put you up there, and hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully people listen. I listen to more about what you're all about. So
thanks.
You're amazing. Thank you.
All right. You are too.
Thanks so much.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Talk to you soon.
Talk
Bye.
to you later. Bye.
Yeah. Take care. Bye.